Greetings, comrades. Later this week, well, tomorrow, in fact, I'll be going up to London for a few days, so I won't have access to the internet. So don't expect any new videos until Friday or Saturday. But I've got a bit of time before I have to go, so I thought I'd just use this opportunity to talk a little bit about my own political ideology, as it were, or political ideology I subscribe to. Which groups, current movements do I support, and share a few books, some of my favourite books on Marxism with you. Um, Basically, I describe myself as a Marxist Leninist, but in many ways, I'm probably to the left of Lenin. Perhaps you could say in the midpoint between Luxemburgism and Leninism. Um, I feel that Luxemburg probably took a more authentic to Marx's take on radical socialism. But Lenin was, in many ways, an extremely tenacious leader. Um, he he illustrates very well in this particular book, Left-Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder, a need for revolutionary pragmatism as opposed to revolutionary absolutism. And every successful workers' movement has had to make compromises, has had to use every available avenue that they could to gain power for the workers. And he illustrates that very well. He had a way of writing where, much like Mao did, of taking complex ideas and presenting them in quite a simple way and formulating strategies out of those ideas. Um, and as well as critiquing the works of other ideologists. And the State Revolution, left-wing communism, all his works, he draws on so many different sources, critiquing them, praising them here, and taking different ideas and applying them and analysing them, and deconstructing things. And he really was a great writer, as well as a great leader. I mean, the Bolsheviks won the Russian Civil War against enormous odds. They had militarily they were heavily opposed by the Germans on the one side, the White Armies and their allies on the other side, then the imperialist interventions, the anarchists, the social revolutionaries, eventually the Mensheviks, um, and the fact that he was able to keep the Bolsheviks unified through strong party discipline, um, but balancing that strong party discipline with democracy and the implementation of radical democracy is an achievement in itself. So, anyone who aspires to join the workers' movement, whether you're an anarchist or a Marxist or anything, should definitely study the history of Lenin's time at the head of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union very intensely, because there will be many lessons to be learned there. However, what I do oppose is Stalinism. This is meant as no offence to. I know I've got a lot of friends and some subscribers who are Stalinists, and I think that's fine. Definitely study Stalin, learn what lessons you can. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, I don't. Stalin's rule and Stalin's methods and Stalin's control over the workers' movement were, in my view, entirely beneficial. But as I've said before, the aim of this channel is to try and provoke a friendly debate, to get people to look outside the box about Marxism as well as within Marxism. And yeah, so like I say, the Stalinists are still my comrades, even if I don't include myself among them. So I guess you could call me a fellow traveller in that respect. Maoism has definitely heavily influenced me quite a lot. Um, So obviously coming from a slightly different perspective, as I said, because I kind of break with um, Stalinism, but Mao again was either a genius or a madman. Um, Again, he won the Chinese Civil War against enormous odds. Was extremely pragmatic in his methods. His analysis works like on contradiction, on new democracy, on practice are definitely works of genius. Especially the kind of his take on contradictions and analysis of society in different classes, as well as kind of theories like the mass line, People's War, all these different concepts. I definitely agree with many aspects of them, and I'm normally very impressed with Maoist organisations and the ability of Maoist organisations to gain support, to maintain, to kind of weather all storms, basically. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to be learned from Maoism. Even if for example, the free worlds theory, I don't support. Some of Mao's foreign policy was a bit wacky. I think, especially when it comes to collaborating with Nixon. Um, I personally think he should have stuck with Khrushchev, even if he did think he was revisionist and things like that. Um, so, on the whole, there's a wealth of good knowledge to be taken from Maoism. Um, as for groups existing today, in terms of armed groups, um, I'm critically supportive of all of them, especially if um, they have the support of the people. For example, the Naxalites, the New People's Army in the Philippines, um, to an extent, FARC, the PKK, um, groups like this. I think they are definitely fighting for the people. I don't always approve of all of their methods, um, and some of them have a bad track record, in my opinion. But I support their existence, and I support what they're fighting for. Um, but I feel I can am able to support a group and be critical of it at the same time. Perhaps if I consider the lesser of two evils. Um, but generally, it's the working class I support, and I support the empowerment of the working class, um, as well as just vanguard parties. Um, I'm also heavily interested in some anarchist groups like the Zapatistas in Chiapas. After meeting um, a supporter of them from Mexico and then telling you about them, I'm very interested in the Macnabites and the CNT-FAI in the Spanish Civil War and their role they had to play. Um, but as I said, I subscribe to probably what would be considered quite a libertarian version of communism in many ways, but at the same time, I'm also quite an orthodox Leninist. So I don't know. I'm still trying to form my kind of political opinions and political theories, and always analysing, always learning from different people. Um, and my favourite newspaper is the Weekly Worker, which is produced by the Communist Party of Great Britain Provisional Central Committee. Um, and their take on most things, and their draft program is what originally led me to communism. So yeah, I don't have all my books on Marxism with me at the moment. Some of them are in Spain, um, some of them are locked away. But I'll just share a few of my favourite ones that I have to hand. Of course, the Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels, as well as the Civil War in France, Critique of the Gotha Programme. Um, it's all great stuff. Anything by Marx and Engels, really. Um, Das Kapital is in many ways an extremely important book. But if you do read that one, remember to take it in the context of the time it's written. Things have changed in this day and age, so not everything links together the same way. Um, Anything by Lenin, Left Wing Communism, State and Revolution, anything by him really is worth reading. But again, always when reading these books, take them in the context of the time they were written, because people's opinions change and situations change with new experience. This is a great book. It was written by Christopher Caldwell, and it's called further studies in a dying culture. The writer of this book was an English communist, and he was killed in the Spanish Civil War. But this is a book. This is 5 essays he wrote on a bourgeois conception of religion, aesthetics, history, psychology, and philosophy. Definitely worth reading. Get a hold of that. For anyone, this is the book I have linked on my About Me, Dialectical Materialism by Maurice Cornforth, which is definitely worth reading. A lot of stuff by Mao, the Little Red Book, on contradiction, on theory and practice, on new democracy. So I have a read of all of these, as well as works by Rosa Luxemburg, Kautsky, um, Buchanan, and I can't pronounce the other guy's name, Kropotkin or something. The other guy, the anarchist guy, Makhno. Basically, my message to all of you is just read as many different sources and don't feel you have to tie yourself down to Maoism or Stalinism or Trotskyism. I mean, there are elements of Maoism I agree with and elements of Trotskyism. A good idea is a good idea, and it's all about the way you analyze things. So, don't be dogmatic, don't be revisionist. Have a read of everything, make up your own mind, and always try and speak the truth. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Red